Yep.
What's up, y'all? Old School Law. I am Dantron, 69K, back with another hot group like normal. This is going to be a little bit of a special episode. I know we're going to have to do supplementals on this. There's just no way of getting around it. I mean, it's going to be eternal. It's ethereal. We are going to be always here. So first off, I'm going to start off just introducing who we have here. Some of you have seen them before. Thank you for returning. I got Eric, Coin Drop Customs.
Yo, what
Problem
up?
problem solved with Eric. Check out his YouTube page. We got Endgame Arcade,
We're in the end game now.
another phenomenal
Shut up.
page to check out.
Shut up. Sorry.
No problem. Next around the horn, we got Shadow Gaming, our buddy Sean.
Up.
Check out his what is it? Spotify, and you got a little bit of YouTube action. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's OnlyFans.
It's yep. It's only
Only
Sean's.
dance.
Yeah, only
Only
Sean's.
dance.
That's what it is. Yeah. And then, of course, my co-pilot, Wolfman.
Sup, everyone?
Hey, dude. So why are we here, Wolf? Tell us what's going to happen today.
Okay, first and foremost, we're just friends hanging out and talking gaming, and that's one of the reasons why I love law so much. But our topic today is music and sound in video games and what type of effects that it elicits from us when we played in the past, in the present, and in the future. So,
Nice.
you like that?
Yeah.
No cuts.
Freudian slip.
No cuts.
That's right. It happens here. No edits.
We're
Oh, I
doing it
just saw that
live.
damn debate a couple days ago, and it's on my mind. What can I say?
All right.
That debacle.
Yeah. So what does that mean here? So we're talking about just music and gaming in general, music and sound in gaming. It could be something that you remember in a game. It could be a soundtrack. It could be, a certain sound in games. It could be something you were listening to that elicits a memory while you're playing a game. Anything. So it's going to be all over the board, and we're just going to kind of roll through a few. We'll spitball a couple. But yeah, again, this could go for freaking ever. Do any of you guys have anything to bring up or want to talk about before we start rolling?
Just that music and games it doesn't necessarily make a bad game a good game, but if it's a good game and it has phenomenal music, it can make it into a great game. Or obviously a great game with excellent music can make it a phenomenal game. Music can have a major impact with how much you enjoy a game.
Oh, and good music can actually save a pretty bad game.
It can.
Yeah, it can do it. And we were talking a little bit before. I'll just touch on this. Is like music and gaming in general, majority of the time is to elicit some sort of emotional connection, or it'll elicit a memory that when you're playing a game, it might not be necessarily an emotional moment in a game, but you'll hear the music in the game and you'll remember. It'll take you back to sitting on the floor eating pizza rolls and drinking Surge. So
Yeah, Surge.
So yeah, so I told you
Nice.
I'm old, dude. All right, so
Love Surge.
oh dear, yeah, so good. So yeah, good if you want to get cancer, but it's fine. So if nobody else has anything, we can start up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Eric, we're gonna start with you, my friend, and I know you're gonna come up with something hot, and it's probably gonna be an RPG, and I am for it, my friend.
Hell yes. And I gotta go like the Opera House music from FF6, man.
Mm.
When I
Good
hear
call.
that music, that's just, that's the key for me. I mean, the Final Fantasy theme, take it or leave it, I don't really care. But, there are a few moments in that game in particular, but one of them is the Opera House music. It's been made into a real opera before, and man, it's just awesome. Brings back that exact memory of eating pizza rolls, drinking Surge, sitting on the floor, that literal exact memory. It was just, that's what it was. It was a freaking awesome game, awesome soundtrack.
So we're gonna keep talking about that, but I want to sidetrack
Yeah.
for just a second. And anybody, like I say, all 6 to 10 of you that are watching this, just seriously get a little notepad out or get your phone or whatever, and because of copyright and all that kind of stuff, we're not actually gonna play a lot of the music we're
Right,
talking about.
yeah.
But jot down a note like Final Fantasy 6/3 in the U.S. The opera
Yep.
music. just search it. You'll be able to find it. And so if you just do that, like this game, this thing, this music track, or what you're looking for, and just Google it afterwards, you'll be able to get something on it. So you can enjoy and see what we're talking about, because there's so much music. And now I'm going to go back to you and Final Fantasy 3. I have not played all the way through Final Fantasy 3. Everybody knows that. However, I do own it based upon, actually it was Eric's recommendation. I'm like, yeah, I know I should have bought it before and stuff. So I did buy it. I do like it a lot. I just haven't made it all the way through, but it is a great game. I'm really enjoying it. There it is. Yeah,
Yep.
inbox,
What?
baby.
Is that inbox?
Ooh,
Yeah.
How much you want for it?
nice.
Too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
And
think I have an inbox.
Eric's side note on that track you picked.
Yeah.
It is one of the most requested for the Distant Worlds tours. Every stop.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
That, One Winged Angel, and Xanarkand are three of the top 5 songs that are always requested to be played during.
I mean, One Winged Angel, I feel like is a little overplayed in my opinion.
Hey
but-
now.
Yeah.
Hey now.
But no, the
I love
Opera
that
House
song.
one I feel is. I mean, I love One Winged Angel. I've
Yeah.
just heard it way too much. It's just like, okay.
Okay,
fine.
so
Iconic.
because we're talking
Yeah.
about it, I'm to say, we can talk about all, Final Fantasy games. I'm going to touch on a few of them that I remember. Since One Winged Angel came up, that was the one that I played the most, right? Final Fantasy
Mhm.
7. There is so many, like, Golden Saucer music and,
Oh, yeah.
dude, the
Golden
Chocobo
Saucer was
races.
great.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. So many iconic songs, even with the Final Fantasy 7 the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Like, they've taken still the same themes in a lot of the songs and just kind of upped them to, like, them to the
Yeah.
next
Oh, those
level.
are the shitty versions. Cool.
What?
Oh, no.
They're pretty good. But the music,
no.
again, the music is great. Thank you for bringing up Final Fantasy, and especially Final Fantasy 6-3. It's awesome. By the way, 6 and 3 equals 9, and so we got 69. I just wanted to point that out there. Let's go.
Of course.
Fun with math.
All right.
That's math, not
Fun
meth.
with meth.
Yeah, not fun with meth. We're not doing that. No.
Oh boy.
No, like my oh yeah, never mind. That's another story for another day. All right, Jamie. Endgame, tell us what's up.
So I'll piggyback because I was actually going to bring up Final Fantasy 7 and One Winged Angel being a epic soundtrack. The reason, like, yes, it is overplayed, but Eric, why it so resonates with me is, like, back on PlayStation era, there wasn't a lot of lyrics in a lot of songs, and so when I got to the end, there were no lyrics in any of the soundtrack in Final Fantasy 7, and you're playing this game 40, 50 hours, and you get to the end, and you're finally at the final boss, and all of a sudden this orchestral music pumps in, and all of a sudden they're singing, and you're just like, what is happening?
Hold on. Let's
I thought that was
mention
phenomenal.
let me jump in real quick, because just to build off of what you said, and then I'll let you go back. I apologize for interrupting you.
No,
But
no.
the
That's what this is,
PS1
group talk.
was a lot of people's first introduction into CD quality music for gaming, which just was another level. We can talk about how it's another level for graphics, but it was another level for sound.
Yeah, and I'll pivot that. So of course there's Larson, you already talked about it. There are different themes in there. Aerith had a very memorable, emotional theme in that game as well. And of course, the opening bombing mission sets the stage, real high impact song. And piggybacking off of Final Fantasy VI, Eric, is when the opera scene happens, like, you've played through a lot of that game before that came, so you're not expecting that at all, because there's no other part in that game that's like that. So it's a game changer in there, and you really sit back and think about it, and you're like, whoa, what is happening right now? Like, this is really epic in a totally somber way, because the whole world's in ruin and chaos, and you don't know if you're going to find all your party back, and then you're getting this real heartfelt, emotional stuff. And really, I agree, that's a great soundtrack, especially for the 16-bit era. And
it had imitation 16-bit voices in it, which was odd, but not horrible.
Right. So that was going to be my first game. So we kind of covered that already. So I'll just go on a quick one here.
Yep.
And it's not really about a song in a game. It's actually for a trailer for a game. And the game that I'm talking about is Gears of War.
Mad World.
Oh,
Mad World. You would not think Mad World would go with Gears of War. nobody knew what Gears of War was. But when you hear Mad World, you're immediately like, listen, like, what's this all about? And you see the gritty vibes, the violence, the dark atmosphere with this like somber song. And you're just like, whoa, this is epic. Like, I need to check this game out. So even though this wasn't in the game, I thought it was a great way to get you emotionally invested in a game that you never heard of. It was a new IP, and you drew attention to it because you're like, oh, this is AAA already with Mad World in here, this amazing trailer. Like, I need to get invested in the game. So I guess that's going to be my pivot to start off. What do you guys think about that sort of a thing where the song in the trailer evokes an emotion?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I feel like that's totally valid. That's awesome.
Yep. And I think it works in the reverse, because I remember, I don't know if it was like some sort of gaming convention or like, that summer big gaming thing that they used to have all the time and they don't have
E3?
it anymore. Yeah, E3, exactly. I
Yep.
remember seeing a game called Dead Island, and
Mhm.
they had a song playing and they had
Yes.
it going in reverse, like the action going in reverse. And I was like, holy crap, the game didn't really interest me. But like you were saying, Endgame, like I was like, wow, that song's so cool. I want to check it out. I ended up checking it out, and it wasn't my type of game, but it was the song that got me hooked, like you were saying.
Yep. It was a bit sound catching, eye catching, like drew your attention to it, which is a cool way to do it. Like you said, even though you didn't like the game, you noticed it because of the music.
Yeah. And I just want to state this right now because it's bothering me. If you look at Sean's screen right now, it's kind of like Where's Waldo? Like I'm trying to find out where Sean's in the picture of Final Fantasy VI. Yeah. It was really cool.
I'm hiding under the mech for some
Yes,
reason.
there you go. I found you.
Well, right on.
Nice.
Thanks, Endgame. Great choice,
Yep.
buddy. All right, Sean.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback off the original Final Fantasy bit, and I'm going to pick a song that's not a regular high-end pick.
Okay.
Now, when do you think of Final Fantasy X or 10, whatever you want to call it?
Yep.
You think Xanarkin, right?
Yep.
No, I don't.
Of course not.
However,
you are not a cultured swine.
However, the opening.
Yes, for X2. Please say X2.
Yeah. No. The opening for X.
Oh,
Otherworld.
Okay.
The first metal song that's a cold open to the game.
Yes.
You don't expect that out of a Final Fantasy, and then all of a sudden you get that heavy riff going, and you get the Blitzball scene, and you're like, what did I just get into?
I'm playing Devil May Cry here, or what?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good pick.
What was the song called? Otherworld?
Yes, Otherworld.
Nice. I gotta remember. I haven't played X in a really long time.
Remember, take your notes, everyone.
Yep.
Jot them down.
I'm taking notes.
It had great music.
You're gonna.
I thought you were gonna say X2.
You know what you're gonna make me do? I'm gonna end up
awesome.
having to go back, and then after we put this up and everybody sees what's going on, I'm gonna have to go and mark every single song in the game and timestamp it. That's all right. Then it'll be easy for people to find. But still, don't let me do all the work for you. You do it yourself too.
Yep. Love doing it. So
nice. All right, Wolfman.
Music.
Let's go.
So this should come as absolutely zero surprise to anybody. We're talking about PS1, and you mentioned, Eric, about the how, like, yes, the graphics with CD games was great, but the music was a game changer. And the game that I thought was a game changer to me is Castlevania Symphony.
Yes, I knew it.
And that to me, yes. I have a sealed copy, which I just showed. I have an open copy. I have digital on my phone. I could just listen to that from beginning to end. I love it. I remember where you're at in the game when you're playing. To me, it harkens back to the first time I played it. I love it. I love the atmosphere, everything about it. I thought the soundtrack was great because to me, it was one of the first soundtracks where it had different subgenres. It wasn't all of the same type of music. There was jazz, there was goth, there was rock, there was a techno. in that
Oh, yeah.
soundtrack. There was all sorts of different types of music, and it worked as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. And it's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time.
So, side note, because I always have to mention it. First of all, the library music in that game is amazing. I love the library
Yeah,
music. But
definitely.
also the credits music, I Am the Wind,
Yes.
also has vocals, really good vocals by Cynthia Harrell, the singer of also Snake Eater.
Yes.
Same exact
Yes.
singer, and she has an amazing voice. And you can throw that CD into a CD player and you can play the entire soundtrack, which is awesome.
Definitely.
And it's definitely a soundtrack that, yeah, the gameplay is great in that game. But it definitely elevates the game and makes it feel even more epic and immersive. You know, because by that point, you've played a lot of platformers, a lot of Castlevania games. And yes, they changed it up with the RPG elements, but the music also elevated everything. Now, I mean, Castlevania has great music, but that elevated the music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they called it Symphony of the Night. They understood the assignment.
They
when
knew,
it came
like
to,
they knew, like they're like, oh, we're gonna call it something. They probably had it called something else, and they're like, this music is just too. You know what? We have to say something about the music. All right, Symphony, yes, let's do that.
Mm-hmm. I thought they took advantage of the hardware. You know, it's just, and not just Castlevania. I mean, to me, there's tons of PS1 games that really use that hardware effectively and efficiently to get the most out of the 32-bit, era. But I just like what I think Eric opened up with. I mean, yeah, it's not just about CD graphics. It's just the sound was on another level, once you got to like PS1 and you're like, wow, this is game changer now. And sound was always important going all the way back to NES. I mean, Mega Man 2 and Contra and Legend of Zelda, and picked up with each generation. But geez, PS1, man, just was hitting on all cylinders.
Again.
Well, in Wolf, like Castlevania had on the Nintendo, had a few tracks that were iconic that they played all the time. Whereas Symphony of the Night, like you said, they changed it up quite a bit.
They did.
Well, the limitations in media was the biggest part. Like good sound is going to take up some space. So
definitely.
I mean, yeah, there's some iconic music in some of the older, cartridge-based systems, but it's repetitive. They don't have the 12 or 13 different tracks in there. There might be 5, right? So and it's going to be, not what CD quality is. So yeah, good choice, dude. I like that game a lot too. I think I've purchased that one like you. I think I've bought it probably like 3 or 4 times. Just
exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take. You guys are given a little bit more, not obscure, but some good, well-known stuff. I'm gonna hit some low-hanging fruit really quick, because when it comes down to this game, so it has had a re-release, but the music on the re-release is not the same. And it doesn't hit the same, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because this is one of the problems with gaming nowadays, where they're like, oh, that's all right, they'll just release it in another form, and you can play it on your newer systems. The way that licensing and stuff works, things like this can happen. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, perfect example. Like the re-release on it, there's music that's not on there anymore, and it doesn't hit the same. And so it doesn't. I don't care if the graphics are good when it doesn't strike the nostalgia like I'm anticipating it should. And so the game that I'm going to really point out is the number 1 issue that I have with that is Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good call.
Crazy Taxi. This game is the soundtrack. I mean, it is an obvious choice. It is a lot of fun game. Don't get me wrong. It is an arcadey game, but it is a boring frickin' game if it doesn't have that soundtrack with it. It is not the same. You play the new re-release version of it without the tracks on it, it's not the same. It does not feel the same. Yeah, they got good music on the other one, but this original Dreamcast version with Offspring and especially All I Want, that one song specifically on here, if you play that song over and over and over again, that's when you would get, for me, I just noticed it, I would get the higher scores doing that song. I think it was because it just hit the adrenaline.
You were hyped
even more. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So and when you think of Crazy Taxi, you can't think of have a memory for Crazy Taxi and not have the music playing in the background.
It's true.
You just can't. It's just this is, again, low-hanging fruit, but this is one that I really wanted to touch on, and another reason why preservation is so important. But
Yes.
so what do you got? You guys, anybody else got anything on this one?
In all honesty, with the upcoming multiplayer version that's coming out from Sega, I truly hope they do kill it with the music, because the music for Crazy Taxi is a hit, like you said.
Mm-hmm. You got to keep them separated.
Ah, yeah, yeah. No,
Sorry.
you don't want to keep them
Nice.
separated. You want to get them
That's right.
together. They're trying
Yeah.
to keep them separated.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't doctor disrespect under 18. Okay, so was that too soon?
No, not soon enough.
No. All right,
That was good.
Eric, let's go, buddy.
All right, so I got a hit on this one just because it's really it's interesting to me and it's fun. But anyway, I normally I hate the sound of almost every game on this system, even though I love some of the games on this system. But there was just something that hit a nerve with me weird with the Genesis, and they had a weird sound. But sometimes they could get some music really good, and I think a game where they did that particularly well was Sonic 3.
Oh, okay.
Sonic 3 had some terrific music, and there's this whole thing where like Michael Jackson was involved with the music of that game, and but I can't remember the name of the stage now. Flying Battery. I think Flying Battery had an amazing soundtrack to it, and the music changed when you plugged Sonic 3 into Sonic and Knuckles. I don't know why it changed, but it wasn't quite as good. So the sound was really good on Sonic 3. I want to do a twofer just because these are the two Genesis games where I think the sound was particularly good. The other one is Echo the Dolphin 2.
Oh, okay.
I would literally just play that game and just chill and relax during some of those songs. You know, you're swimming around. Echo the Dolphin 2 is a terrific game anyway, if you haven't played it.
Wolf.
I mean, you could hate it, but some people, you know, I loved it. I thought
like
it was great.
Echo.
I mean, I thought it was Sonic underwater, and I was like, all right, this is cool. But the sound for it, the music for it is terrific. And it's very tranquil. It's very what you would think the ocean is, and it's good. And it's two of the games where on the Genesis I felt like they got really good music and they got it right. The Genesis is a bit weird for me for sound. I know some people really love it, but it was just odd for me for some reason.
Streets of Rage 2.
That
has
might
good
as well
music
talk about
also.
it. That was going to be one I was going to bring up.
Okay. Yeah, Dan, we'll go out of turn.
Dude,
that's fine.
Dude, Streets of Rage 2, I mean, like, you just brought it up, Wolf, and this song, you know, whenever you fire it up, dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 everybody knows
Iconic.
this. And then there's so many different, like, different, let's just say, different music tracks in this that you think about the original one, but there's so many different, like, stage. You hit a stage, you're like, oh, yep, I remember that music. Oh, all right, I remember that one. But I agree with you. Genesis was kind of weird when it comes to sound, but this game in particular, I think, is actually at the top of the mountain for me for sound on the Genesis, because this game not only was just a fantastic game, super fun, multiplayer mayhem, but the music and the sound in general. I mean, like even the vocal sounds, just like because the guys would be screaming stuff, you know, and I really enjoy this one. But yeah, anyways, quick. There we go. Sorry.
No, the music was great in that one. That's another game where I feel like they got the music right for Genesis, and I feel like that was a little bit of a rarity for when it came to Genesis. So.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Endgame, what you got, dude?
So I want to piggyback off of what you said earlier about like music having emotion, bringing out emotions out of you. And of course, we talked about One Wing Angel, where Sephiroth was a really difficult boss battle. End of the game, it elevated that boss battle. So two other things that I remember about playing games is like, let's say you're playing Resident Evil, right? And, you know, you have this intense music, you're survival horror, you only have 5 bullets left. Nothing was better than running away from the zombie, getting into that save room, and hearing that relaxing music where you just had this emotional response where you're like, I'm finally safe. I made it. I can catch my breath. And the music did that, right? Like, you didn't know.
Yeah.
There we go. You can chime in on those, especially Code Veronica. Fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I love that you're exploring this mansion. You don't know what's around the corner. and you're like, oh my God, a zombie, a hunter, or whatever. And then you go into a room and you hear that music. You don't know that it's a save room until you hear the music, and then you know, okay, I'm safe. I'm safe.
So remember I said at the beginning that I didn't think any of you were going to come up with that? That's why I had these out. That specific save room, because they're all different sounds. All of them. And I'm going to tell you, Code Veronica's save room music is the best. The second is Resident Evil 0 save music. That's the second best save room music. And then the rest of them, they're still pretty good. You know, like we got 4 and
Resident Evil remake.
But the remake, the remake one is good as well. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Now I don't have to waste my turn bringing it up. But dude, yeah, because you just don't realize, the feeling of just like almost elation when you get to that point where you're like, yes. Oh gosh, and then you go, oh shoot, I hope I have another ink ribbon in this case. Yes,
right.
And you're like,
right.
Yes.
Well, and what was great about it too is those were survival horror games, so you felt, you know, if you wasted your bullets or if you ran. So it's not like an action game where, okay, I got this, right? Like Resident Evil, you run away from some zombies, you feel that relaxing, but it's only for a moment because now you know, shoot, I didn't take out those zombies. I got to go back out there. Oh man, you know.
So that's great. Great.
I just wanted to kind of a couple of them real quick. Where another one would be like Metal Gear Solid 1, like when you're spotted, you have any of the Metal Gear Solid games, but like when you're spotted, the music just kicks in and it's adrenaline, and you feel the timer's ticking down, and you feel like you got to hide, and then the music slows down when you're almost off the hook and you're, you know, hidden from them. So music definitely has an important vibe, even if it's not like a classic song itself or the soundtrack's not necessarily the best ever. Those specific instances can really matter and be memorable, like you pointed out and opened with earlier, Larson.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. That was awesome. I was hoping that would at least come, and if it didn't come up towards the end, I was going to bring it up. So thanks for bringing that up, because it is. There's nothing like that. By the way, you guys out there, you can search that stuff on Google. You can, you know, whatever, YouTube it. I think there's actually some iTunes like save music stuff that's available, but those save rooms are awesome. They're so soothing and comforting, and it's like a warm blanket. It is. It's so good. All right, Sean, I'm ready.
Well, as you see, I have the Saboteur behind me. A shitty open world game, but the opening music was Feeling Good by Gail Simone from the 60s. An amazing, soulful song that kickstarts this game, that makes it actually one of its saving graces.
I actually liked that game. I didn't think it was that bad.
No. I enjoyed it too, but I tend to love open world games where I can just stick around and do whatever I want. So, but that in that game, yes. I mean, when you're hiding by running into a brothel to get rid of a wanted level, there we go.
Never actually played that game.
You had me at brothel. Yeah, you had me at brothel.
It's literally an open world World War II set in Paris, France during the occupation.
Harry. Okay. Got it.
So yeah, really fun though.
It is.
He said Harry.
I tried to keep it in for that one.
That's the best jokes are the ones that you can slide in there and nobody really knows, and then they go, "Wait a minute, what did they just say?"
Yeah.
Oh man.
Harry balls.
No.
No. And for the game would be officially Dantron approved because they do have a nude mod for
it.
Neat.
Yeah. Super cool. You can't play it around kids though, so
yeah.
Alrighty. Wolfman. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. We're gonna say Eric.
Oh no.
Okay. All right.
Go for it. Wolf.
All right, Wolf. You're up.
Okay, so my next game.
Symphony of the Night.
No, that's already been talked about.
Super Castlevania 4.
No. I'm off the Castlevanias.
Okay.
I'm going into more of like feel good, fun music, and the game that comes to mind for me, for music that I remember, is Super Mario Galaxy, the first one.
Oh.
I thought the soundtrack was incredible. I think, it's on par with, Dan, your favorite Mario game on GameCube. Yep.
Sunshine.
Super Mario Sunshine. To me, I feel like Super Mario Galaxy and Sunshine are like neck and neck. And for me, I would put Galaxy a little bit ahead of Sunshine, but I mean, they're right there. Awesome. Just you pop in the game and you're in a great mood. The soundtrack is whimsical, it's poppy, you have a smile on your face, both of those games. And I just think if anybody's never heard the Galaxy soundtrack, I challenge you to go to YouTube and listen to some of those songs. They're killer, especially some of those boss fights.
Galaxy was good. Go ahead, Endgame.
Well, and real quick, Wolf, like what's really great about the Galaxy music is like that's a very different game, like because it's like you never know what you're going to get in the next world, and they're big like open spaces. Even though they're linear levels, they feel open because they're out in space. But the music feels that way. It's like inviting you to go out in the open and like explore.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Without any lyrics or anything, like you feel that you're like, all right, let's go do this. I got this.
Yeah, I think it comes for me. It goes to what I played more. I played more Sunshine than I did Galaxy, and I think that's a lot of what preferences come down to is what
I agree.
What you play. So like for me, but it's awesome that you brought this up because I can't. So I agree with what you're saying with Galaxy. It is that Endgame. Thanks for bringing it up. I couldn't really wrap my brain around what I would say about it, but yeah, it is an inviting type music that it's like welcoming you to go and explore, and I think that's awesome. But whereas Mario Sunshine was more just like kind of a fun, goofy, and
a tropical getaway.
Yeah, it was. It was just
like, hey, come on.
Yeah, and
there's
always like sounds of like ads going off. You can hear it in the background, doon 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 doon, and you're like, oh, okay. It's like it was like a living world on top of with the music playing, and yeah, both of those great choices, Wolf. Thanks for bringing those ones up because very good.
I mean, Mario music in general, the original classic music.
Mario
3, great choice though. Great franchise for music.
Yep. So let's see. Do I want to? Oh my gosh, there's so many. All right, I'm gonna bring up one. And it's gonna be a fighting game franchise.
Okay.
This for me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, this for me. There's some good music in fighting game franchises, but to me, none better than this. This is like I will fight somebody on musical soundtracks for fighting series, and I'm gonna put this up there. Killer Instinct.
Okay. I thought you were gonna take us for a ride.
No, don't get me wrong.
Came with the disc, man.
I love the Killer Cuts disc, and I was gonna show that, but it's packed away with my CDs. But I do have the Killer Cuts CD that came with this. But Killer Instinct, dude, everybody remembers the freaking riffs that as soon as Killer Instinct. And
Killer Combo Ultra.
Yeah, dude, it's the thing that
Yeah.
hits this one. Even the newer Killer Instinct, it's not new. It's been out for like 10 years now. But even the newer version of Killer Instinct, I still love that game. I think the graphics still hold up well on that game too. But the music, they carried it over. The music is just as good on that. It's fantastic. It gets me hyped more than any other, and it is the most iconic music. Yeah, you can talk about Mortal Kombat. They have some pretty iconic songs in Mortal Kombat, but not like Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct is something different, like when it comes to fighting games. And then, but you talk about, you guys were mentioning Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I don't think that's a good fighting game soundtrack, but it is iconic.
That's I thought you were going there.
No, it is iconic, and but it's not my favorite sound. I'm like,
I agree.
Right. It's okay.
I don't think it's that great.
I'm like,
take you for
take you for a ride.
Yeah.
Put that up there with freaking, like Killer Instinct. Sean
Annoying
already
as all
has it.
hell.
Yeah.
Well, see, I had an interesting side note because of history with Killer Instinct. My group of friends did in our high school. We did a haunted house in the basement of a church.
Oh,
Perfect
nice.
place for it. And we would always have our room decorated in the theme of one of the Killer Instincts and have the track running the entire friggin' night.
Nice.
One of our favorites was literally Saberwolf.
Oh yeah.
So we had the room dressed up as Saberwolf's background as stage. Had the music going. Fucking unbelievable.
Yep.
We need some pictures of this. I want to see this. This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can find some, but yeah.
Right
That's
on.
Didn't
the opening of
Saberwolf
my
stage have
magazine.
a bed in the background?
Or was it the fireplace? Was it
It
the
was the
fire?
fireplace.
Yeah, it was the
Oh,
fireplace. Like,
fireplace.
yeah,
Yeah, it
like
was
the
the castle.
yeah, like the castle fireplace.
Yeah, yeah.
So cool, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wolf. You were going to say something.
Nice.
No, I was just saying that I agree with Sean. I mean, the opening of my Megacade compliments of Leo da Vinci is Saberwolf coming on the screen, clawing, and then playing some of that level music from his, when you play him. So it's pretty epic.
Yep. So there it was. Mixed it
Nice.
up. Fighting games and music. Who would have thunk it? All right, Eric. What's up, brother?
Hell yeah. All right. So sticking with the fighting game genre,
Oh,
Ooh,
Big surprise.
here we go.
Shocker.
I have to say, the intro to this game, I loved this game when it first came out, but I still love this game. There are more current versions of this game that are good, but I used to put in this disc and just to watch the intro and listen to the music. And the song was called Edge of Soul, and the song was Soul
Yes.
Blade
Yeah.
oh, yep.
Yeah.
for the PlayStation 1, or in the arcade it was Soul Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the Edge of Soul song with all the characters and showing a
Mhm.
little segment of each of them, that song used to get me pumped, and I
Yes.
used to love
Great
to
pick.
go through that game.
A
And
Tale
yeah,
of
listen
Two
to that song.
Swords.
Yes.
That's right.
Forever Sold.
That's right.
Yep.
So such a good pick, Eric.
That's an epic
Yep.
pick.
Yep. I agree. I will say it's definitely up there for sure. For any, actually, not just any intro. Really, it doesn't even have to be a fighting game. Like
Yeah.
any intro, there are some that you just put on and you just want to watch. Almost
Mhm.
like I would
Yep.
say for me that type of one would be Guilty Gear XR Rev 2. That intro specifically as well.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those just like that where you could put it on and just let it play. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Well, and the PlayStation 1 was the era where this, what is it, the CGI or whatever they called it,
Mm.
FMV videos were such an
Yeah.
impactful thing because they elevated your perception of what the graphics were. So when you heard that Soul Edge song, or even like the Tekken games, you're putting the visuals with that. You're like, man, I'm going to play this game. This looks so cool. So then you get that in your head
Yep.
because the music's awesome. The visuals were awesome. Yeah, the gameplay is not quite as good like visually, but you already have that image in your head and you're ready to go.
And that narrator was
Yep.
awesome too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't Kevin
Yep.
Calabro like from NBA Jam.
No, it was not him.
All right, Endgame.
Well, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about. So Eric said, Soul Edge, the music got him ready to play the game. We touched on the Dreamcast game, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That was a game where I did not like that. Can you take you for a ride? the gameplay was awesome. So once you got in, you were ready to go, but it's like, man, this is just grinding on me. I just can't stand this,
Yeah.
So a game that I wasn't really a fan of, a genre, first-person shooter genre, not really a fan, but the music at the beginning of the game, Sean, kind of like Saboteur for you, that got me invested in the game before I ever played it was the Halo theme song.
Oh yeah.
Again, that's not
yeah.
right on cue, Sean.
Yep.
I'm like, damn it, you're taking all my good ones.
It's not. Well, you could chime in.
No. I know.
But basically, it's not my favorite franchise. I like Gears of War way better. I like third-person shooters way better. But that soundtrack, the main theme, is so epic that you're just like, I gotta play this game. This sounds so cool. I'm not a first-person fan, but I'm gonna play it because this is just such an epic opening theme. I would just sit there like for 5-10 minutes just listening to it just before I started to play. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just that song though. There's plenty of great songs in that franchise.
But that's the best. The opening theme is the best.
Yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
I mean, Pillar of Autumn.
Yep.
Getting through that big rush of music, having the remixed version of the opening for the ending while you're
Yes.
chasing to save yourselves.
Yep. Trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to have that, and you have that music kind of get remixed for every game when you have that chase at the end of it.
Yes. Well, and each of the newer games has a different take on the opening soundtrack. Kind of like what we talked about a little earlier, the Final Fantasy remakes. They have the classic soundtrack, but then they kind of put a little spin on it. So it pays homage to the original, which you enjoy, but then it takes its own, elevates it in some ways, which I enjoy. And Halo did a great job of that.
Yeah. Eric's like, I'm gonna
Eric's
bite
like,
my tongue.
no.
I don't know if it elevates. It makes it different. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Very cool. So Sean, you got another one then?
Yeah. It's actually 2 songs back to back.
Oh.
Yeah.
The opening theme, then
Great
going into
franchise.
Hikaru Utada's Simple and Clean.
Oh, dude.
Mhm.
Yep. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Such a
dun.
good song.
Yeah. So
Yes.
good.
And they remixed that for all the different versions as well, and like the 3DS version and stuff like that.
Great pick.
Yeah. What?
Wow.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Epic,
hearing
Sean,
What is-
epic.
is
what
you
is that
love
one called?
remixes.
What is the main title for that one called?
Simple and clean.
Simple and clean.
Oh,
is
yeah.
is hers, but there's an actual title for the opening. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there's a couple iconic ones.
Yeah, I don't remember. I own it, but I don't remember what it's called because I'm lame.
Well, and Sean, like Kingdom Hearts has a lot of licensed music from the different Disney movies as well, so it invokes that feeling that when you go to each of the worlds, you feel like you're in Wonderland, or you feel like you're in, Atlantis or wherever. And that's Kingdom Hearts is a phenomenal game with music.
The track is literally called Dearly Beloved.
That's it. Yep, Dearly Beloved.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, so
Yep.
good. Oh man, you got me.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you go to, the different worlds, you have all that music. Like, you walk into Halloween Town for the Nightmare Before Christmas. You get the track. You get that song to it.
Yes.
You go into the Pirates of the Caribbean in the third game. You actually get a bit of he's a pirate. So it's just all the love and attention they do put into the music.
Absolutely.
That song is so freaking dope. That's another intro that you can watch a few times because the intro with that music is something that's missed sometimes. I mean, like, even the younger people that are going to be watching this, they might not even have ever played a Kingdom Hearts game. Play it.
Yeah.
They're not easy, and they're not going to be cutesy like Disney stuff. They're a little bit more on the hard side, but it's worth it. That intro in particular, just freaking YouTube that.
All 3 of the songs Hikaru Utada has done for the opening for the franchise, for the different numbered games, are all great.
Oh yeah. Epic
Man.
CG openings to each of them too, that you just want to watch and soak it in.
Yeah.
And like a cool thing about Kingdom Hearts is like it's like the gameplay too. There's fresh characters, new ideas, but then there's established Disney characters. So you have the established music like we talked about when you go to each of the worlds, but then you're mentioning the openings. That's all brand new music, fresh for Kingdom Hearts itself. So, this is a great choice, man. This is the choice of the show so far, I think.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So good.
It's amazing what you can do when you have infinite funds.
Yeah. And you tie up with Disney so you don't get copy strike.
Yeah.
So good. Great choice, man. Yep. I agree. That's the choice of
those
it
are
so far.
awesome games, and the music is good. So yeah.
All right, Wolf.
Okay, so trying to think of like an SAT analogy would be like David Wise is to Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3 and Tropical Freeze, as Yuka Kitamura is to Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and Sekiro, which I believe is one of the best composers.
Sekiro?
That other from tough. I literally broke a controller playing that game, and I that's so frustrating with the parrying. You have a nanosecond to get those parrying correct, but the music in those 3 games that I just mentioned, the atmosphere bringing you into those games, phenomenal. Probably my favorite present day composer, because you're going back to what, like 2015, I think, with Bloodborne, and then Sekiro was like 2019, and then obviously Elden Ring's 2022. So just amazing song, soundtrack, immersive is the best way I could say. the composer is to those songs. They just bring you into the game. Memorable parts. And if you've never heard of any of those games I mentioned, I probably heard of Elden Ring and Bloodborne, but Sekiro might be a little bit on the hidden kind of side. And I think it didn't get as much press because
It was so freaking hard.
punishingly difficult it was. Yeah.
Yep. That once the reviews came out that game was super hard, and people were like, nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a shame because it's a great game. I
Yep.
wish I was better at it. I'd love to see more of the game. I get to a certain part and I just can't pass it.
Eli loves that game.
Yes, he's very good at it. Yep. Yeah, Eli loves those Soulborns games. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
Kind of
And
wish
the
he was here.
DLC just came out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Elden Ring DLC.
Yep.
The Erd Tree or whatever it is.
It was so hard that the developers
They
had to
already
patch
patched it.
and bring down the difficulty level.
Yep.
Sellouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was complaining that, oh, it's too easy now, and then they came out with the DLC. It was like, all right, fine, you thought the other stuff was too easy, here you go. And then those same people complained, like, it's too hard now.
Well, I mean,
so hard it
like
ended Dr. Disrespect's career.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Elden Ring's a 100-hour plus game, so shouldn't you be pretty good by the time you play the DLC? It should be harder.
It should be harder, but like people with like their full-on built characters were just getting annihilated.
Yep.
Really?
First boss or two.
Yeah,
like they
the first
couldn't
boss,
pass it.
people would just stop playing. Like me, I'm playing. I haven't finished it, of course, but I'm playing an armorless playthrough, basically no armor on, and running it. New game plus, and I'm just like, all right, no big deal. It's easy, really, and that's why I'm not really motivated to keep playing it, because it's just like, just taking all this time just going through these quests again. But that character, if I took it there, she'd just get wrecked. Like, I mean, so
it's different gameplay too. Like, right? So with Elden Ring, the first game, the original game, it was a lot of like you did a lot of the rolling and stuff to get out of the way. And I heard you ain't doing that in Shadow of the Erd Tree. I heard it's more jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
So it's different meta, I think.
Different hitbox, how they're hitting, how the swings are going. I heard that.
So
too.
Wolf,
I haven't played it.
Like that's a very challenging game, and you like the soundtrack. Is the soundtrack inviting you to keep playing though?
It is. That's kind of what I was saying. It's like the sirens of Greek mythology, like you hear them in the ocean and they call you and you go over. The way how I can't explain it. It's like, so like Bloodborne is like H.P. Lovecraft. So you got like kind of that vibe, gothic. So it's kind of, to me, like a modern like Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Bloodborne. So really immersive, like, you want to hear more of the songs and more of the soundtracks, and each part of Bloodborne has its own music and stuff. Really, really cool. I would say that's one of the big reasons why I want to play those games.
That's awesome.
I don't want to be frustrated when I play games, because I get frustrated very easily. And so a big draw for me. And, the graphics aren't great. I mean, Elden Ring has good graphics. They're not great. But I would say a big part of why you play that game is the immersion. You like that lore, you like the monsters, the bosses, the creatures, and building characters, but definitely the ambiance and the atmosphere and how they set up the spots that you're at within the game is, to me, the big draw.
See, and I think that's what another awesome thing that video games can do is, even if they're hard and you're dying a lot, the music can invite you to keep playing. Like two examples I kind of have is like Contra, really challenging game, but that music's so pumping and adrenaline filled. You want to keep going. And another one is Battletoads. D. Thomas just did a video with it, brought back a lot of memories of, like the speeder bike level. That was the hardest level. It was you died over and over and over, but that music just pumping and got your adrenaline flowing that you're like, dude, I gotta beat this. I can do this. This music's awesome. I'm gonna keep going, keep dying. So I love that you brought that up, the challenge, but the music added to that you want to just keep seeing more of it. And I think there's lots of games that do that really well too.
Cool.
You know what? I was going to go a different way, but I'll wait on that one. I'm going to keep going on what you're talking about. a gaming music soundtrack that invites you to keep playing it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit still down that road, but to a point that it was just just people just hate this game, and I hate this game, and the music is so freaking
Really?
iconic. I don't even have to show it yet. You guys could just
Hold on. Look, give us a clue. Oh my
Oh,
God.
Turtles!
no!
Oh.
Everyone
The
that played
stupid
this,
water level
everyone
music.
that played this game remembers the freaking
Yeah.
music.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yes.
But again, we were
Mhm.
talking about that games that invite you to keep playing.
Yes.
That music does invite you to keep playing this game, but it doesn't make the game any better. This game freaking
No.
blows monkey sack. I
Yeah,
mean,
it does.
it is not a good game. It is just, like, man, Wales, this is for you, my friend, because but
Yeah.
the music is something that you will remember. When I talk about regular
Yeah.
Nintendo, there's
Mm.
a few games out there that really that I will say I'll put probably 10 games up that the music is just all about it. This is the
Mhm.
worst of those 10.
Mhm.
I remember the music, and I remember the pain and struggle that it elicits in my brain. And
Yep.
but it's just one of those things, dude. You pop up that
Mhm.
initial startup music, and yep, there you go.
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave it short and sweet with that one. But because you guys were talking
Nice.
about, yeah, that game.
That's
And
that's a great one. Yeah.
And without even
Yeah.
like any lyrics or anything, it does feel like Turtles. Like the soundtrack feels like they're saying tubular and
Yep.
rad and all that stuff.
Mm.
Especially that overworld theme when you're walking around and the tanks are trying to run you over.
Yep.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
hate
still
that
wanted it. I
game.
still
I
wanted
know.
I still want
It sucks.
Just needs to be said.
Because you wanted to play Turtles, the arcade game, and then you got that load of hot horse manure.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing on all levels. It was
Yeah.
Except
Well,
for the
except for the
freaking
music.
Dang it.
Yeah.
music was good.
Yeah.
Well, Dan,
Yeah.
then we could actually pivot to a great game, Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo,
Oh yeah.
that has great gameplay with great music, and it's a phenomenal game because of that,
Yep.
Definitely.
So, like we said earlier, like music can make a bad game a little better, but it makes a good game a great game if it's a phenomenal soundtrack.
Yep.
Agreed.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right,
For
Eric.
sure. All right, I'm gonna go with one that maybe not that many people have heard of, but this game, the entire story of the game is literally told through music. It's through music and through just actions of the sprites. There's no text in this game, nothing you have to read, and there's no voice lines or anything. And there's a secret. Well, it's not really a secret.
You talked
but,
about this game before, haven't you? On a Law
I have.
episode.
Yeah.
I have.
Mhm.
I have. You
Hints.
plug this game in, and if you just let it sit on the title screen, you won't even know the story of the game unless you do it and you let it play its video that you have to wait like a minute and a half for before it starts. You can just start the game and then get into it. But anyway, game's called Out of This World for the SNES.
Yeah.
And the entire story is told with the music. And that's it. It's a terrific game. You have feelings for the characters. By the end of it, you start to care about the characters. There's a massive twist at the end. I won't reveal it, even though the game's like 35 years old or something. But awesome soundtrack. It's the first time where I ever played a game and I was like, I feel like I'm playing a movie. This is incredible.
Man, I can't.
Haven't
touch that
played
game.
it, but I'll
Yep.
take your word for it.
I know. I'm about to play it. It's on my list
It's
still,
neat. It's a neat game.
Yeah, it is a good game.
and it has good music, so I'm down with it.
Mhm.
It has great music. Yep.
All right, Endgame.
Well, and to piggyback off of Eric, where the music makes that game, I mean, this one made our totally awesome top 25 retro games of all time. Probably my favorite soundtrack of all those games, because when you land on the planet and you're exploring that planet, Super Metroid,
Oh boy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
you
Great
feel
Yes.
isolated, you feel alone. It's just, there's no dialogue in that game. Oh, that box is awesome. I love that. You feel alone, and it's all told through the music, just like Eric was saying with his game, is that you feel like I need to explore here. I'm on my own. And then when you get to each of the different areas, the intensity picks up and you feel like this area is distinct compared to the other one. And sometimes there's not very much music at all, and that feeds into the atmosphere as well, where you're like in the ghost area and you're just like, oh my god, I'm abandoned in the area and stuff. And Eric, you explained this really well in our countdown reveal, so I'm sure you have some extra input you want to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's iconic music in this game from when the moment you land to the really hard impact music that happens when you need to escape from the base, and then you land on Zeebs, and then you go to the ghost ship, and it's just eerie and weird, and then there's a room that it's not explained or anything in that game. You go into that room and it's just got a statue of all these creatures, and you don't even know what they are at that point. You get to the room and you're like, what is this room? And the music is just different for that room. And that entire game's a vibe. But I love the Norfair music. I love all of it. All of it's unique. It's similar to I won't say it's as high quality as Symphony of the Night, but it is the same as in whenever you're in a new area, the music changes for that area and that environment. You know you're gonna fight a boss even before you see the boss, because you'll hear the unique music kind of pick up, and you're like, okay, something's about to go down. And yeah, the music for that game is just awesome.
And it has the cool little jingles, kind of like Zelda has when you open a chest, you know, when you save or when you get an upgrade, you feel, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take on whatever I couldn't pass before. Or, oh, now that I got those rockets, I need to go back. Like the music evokes that, where you're like, all right, I got it. You know, I love it.
That's the immersion I was talking about in that game, you know, with like Elden Ring and stuff. They nailed that. I mean, you actually feel like you're on that like other planet, and like just the eerie sounds and like the planetary sound effects. Just they just killed that soundtrack.
Right. And it's not necessarily a survival horror or scary game, but you feel that at times because through the isolation and the music in that game, they do a really great job with that. Of course, the level design, the music wouldn't be by itself. You need great level design to go with it and all that sort of stuff. And it's one of the perfect masterpiece games where level design, gameplay, music, it all goes together. And, you know, that's why it's one of the best games ever made.
Yep.
Agreed.
No doubt.
All right, Sean.
Oh boy.
Nice.
I still remember, man,
awesome.
running down the street and beating people to death with a big old purple dildo.
Well, okay. Now that as fun as the comedy is of the comedy aspect, one of the things I loved about it, they had a great soundtrack, a little bit of everything. You had Avenged Sevenfold, Mastodon. For those people who actually gave a crap, Paramore. But you 2, 3, and 4 had one little feature that you always had to laugh at. You're driving in the car, a song comes on, your character starts singing the damn song.
Yeah.
In 2, you get Everybody Wants to Rule the World. In 4, you get Just a Friend from Bismarcky. In 3, you actually get them singing Song 2.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Hawk Tour. You guys saw that
one. Spit on that thing.
Oh, man.
Don't mention the PS5 version, though. That can't be uttered in here. That Saints Row's game.
No, that was horrible.
Abysmal.
But the thing that I loved about it is Saints Row 4. You're in the middle of a mission, you're flying through an alien spaceship, and all of a sudden, Stan Bush, the touch comes on.
Nice.
And you're like, come
on. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love those moments in Saints Row. Like, I'm not a huge fan of, you guys know, Grand Thefts, but Saints Row, it's so weird and wild that it keeps my attention enough, and it makes me laugh. It just does. There's always something funny that happens. You're like, what? What just happened? Yeah, good choice, bro. Anybody else got anything on Saints Row?
Just don't play the PS5 Xbox.
Pass that one.
Just pass
the
on.
reboot was not that good.
The waste of your money. It'll just set on fire in your wallet.
Yeah. Just light yourself on fire. It's more fun. That's what you're telling me. Got it.
So,
All right, Wolfman, you're up then.
Okay, somewhere in Florida, whales' ears are gonna pop off and blood's gonna squirt out like old.
Here we
But
go.
we can't do an episode like this without talking about a Legend of Zelda soundtrack. Oh, there you
Yep.
go. And actually, Endgame is holding the game I wanted to
Yep.
talk about because
Yes.
I mean, we could debate and we could talk, is it the original NES? Is it Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild? But for me, it is absolutely the Super Nintendo version. It is iconic. They absolutely upped the game from the NES version to the SNES version. It was just immersive, great, just very memorable soundtrack.
You act like it's a top 10 game or something, Wolf.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's
Well,
like you said, Endgame, that's another game where all the pieces fit. Gameplay, graphics, soundtrack, fun factor. You got all four pieces, and that's why it's in the top 10 of all time for the Lawsome, episode.
Yes. Well, in the immersion, like we
Yep.
talked with Metroid, the save room and stuff, when you open that chest, in
Yep.
the Zelda game, everybody probably had that for their ringtone at some point, like such a iconic sound. Or finding a heart piece, opening a fairy cave, like all those sounds are just iconic. That as soon as you do it, you're like, yes, I found fairy. All right, let's go capture them. Great choice.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree.
No,
I love all those games.
Never had a Zelda ringtone.
I
I will say that.
Yep.
I will say this as a side bet. For a certain person in my phone, I have the witch cry from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I had the opening chest sound for a text for a while.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
great choices, dude. I love all the Zelda stuff. I mean, like I even, I looked at the Link to the Past, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring it out because I got the sweet case on it. But I was like, let me just grab the one that grabs me the most, and that's the first one, the first time that I heard that initial, and it's still the same theme carries through all of them, right? But the first one, the first time when I think about Legend of Zelda, I personally, I'm old though, so I think about that first one. I don't know. I'm just weird, but good choice.
Pivot back to A Link to the Past is the overworld music, and then you go to the dark verse and the mirror verse, and it has a totally different overworld music. I thought that was phenomenal. Like, of course, everything visually looked different, but then to totally change that music, you felt, oh, this isn't as upbeat as in the regular world. I'm in more danger.
More
here
danger.
Because of the music,
that was exactly what I was thinking too. It made you feel like there was a little more peril when you're in this place.
Yes.
Don't like you can be calm and confident in your abilities up on the overworld, but then once you get that, it's like, yeah, I'm not quite as comfortable down here.
Right.
So,
yeah, great choice.
Heck yeah. All right, so this is me. I'm going to go on low-hanging fruit again. I will put this one towards the top of any soundtrack that's ever been released for any game, period. I own the soundtrack. Actually, I own 2 versions of it, and I freaking love it. Almost everybody that's listened to it loves it. You can put it on as just chill music in the background. There's some that's a little bit more upbeat, but there's nothing like this when it comes to video game music, and it's going to be the original Last of Us. Dude, the freaking music in this game, and we talk about it like we've touched on this game so many times that we feel like we're molesting this thing constantly, but this game music here is is nothing. Again, it's all opinions, right? But the way that the music is used in this game, and just the music overall, like you can enjoy the music so much just listening to the soundtrack, but being in the game and the music changes depending on situations, depending on health status, all kinds of stuff, depending on if you're noticed or not, and it's subtle differences in the music, and you don't really notice the change but the change is just enough to elicit that emotional impact that it needs you. Like, you're in danger. Like, there's something else going on here. Yeah, you're enjoying looking around at all the scenery and stuff, but there's something dangerous in that area, so you need to pay attention. I know you want to stay here and look at the grand, scope and scale of all this, foliage out here, but you need to pay attention to what's in your face. Like, figure that out. The music is mellow, but yet And it's mellow and calming, but at the same time, it can be eerie. Dude, I can't say enough about that soundtrack. I freaking love it. Again, low hanging fruit, most people know, but yeah, I just love it a lot. So, and you guys got any ideas or any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's another one of those games where, like Zelda, you're always hearing music, whether you're wherever you're at in a dungeon or whatever. That's a game where it's very soft, like you said, where you're just exploring and stuff, where you almost don't hear it. You're just hearing the banter of your characters and stuff like that. It's still there, but then, like you said, it picks up beautifully. Where you all the hair on your back goes up, and you're like, oh my god, something's around here, and the sound effects too with those clickers, like, oh gosh.
Yep. I was just going to piggyback off what you were saying. I mean, soundtrack is so great because it's so subtle and it's in the background, like you said. But to me, the sound effects are amazing. Every sound effect in that game is so real. Stepping in a puddle, loading your gun, modding, like you said, the clickers they just up the game in the sound effects department. And that, to me, helps with the realism and the immersion of the story. Because if you don't have that, then, maybe it's not as immersive.
Right.
Yeah. Back when AAA games felt like AAA games.
Yes.
Definitely.
Well, and, like we talked about with like Metroid and Zelda, like everything in the game elevates it. Like the characters in that game and their acting performances with that music and the dialogue, it just all goes hand in hand. Nothing stands out as being bad. So even when the music's just barely there, it's exactly where it needs to be. Nothing feels out of place, and it's a perfect game,
dude. They're masterful in how they use the music with the dialogue too. Like you'll be in a cutscene, they'll be talking, and there will be a pause. Like Joel will say something, and then there'll be a pause, and you'll hear that little guitar in the background. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And it just like there's like a memory that's triggering in him, and it's just like, and it's a sad memory, and you can feel that, and then there's the response from the other person. That's the stuff I'm talking about. The soundtrack is great, but you're right. The whole picture when it comes to just sound, the whole sound package.
Yep.
On
the
that
sound
game
package
is amazing. So yeah, the soundtrack itself is phenomenal, but the soundtrack with the whole package is unbelievable. Really, it is.
Well,
It still catches me off guard how good that game is. Every single time I put it in, it is just fantastic.
And
we really
Dan,
need to play this game.
Oh, it's so good.
And like I said, Dan, with like Halo, I would sit there 5-10 minutes listening on the main menu. Same thing with The Last of Us, but it's not an epic song. It's just somber, and you're just preparing yourself for the journey you're about to get into.
Yep, and
because there's emotional stuff in that game, and the opening main theme, man, you could just sit there and you're just like, am I ready for this?
Yep, you're sitting there, and it's just showing the window with a little bit of the breeze coming through, and a little bit of the curtains moving. And if you got good high-res graphics, that you can see, you can actually see little particles of dust moving through. Dude, it's that game. Eric, you haven't played that game, I know, but gosh,
I need to play this. I do. The way you guys talk about it, I gotta play it.
Gosh, dang it, it's so good. All right,
and
go ahead.
Real quick. That's what's so cool about this conversation is we're talking about like epic soundtracks. We're talking about subtle soundtracks that get you into it. We're talking about like, a song on a commercial gets you into the game, or man, this game's really hard. So like I want to keep playing it. I love all these different ways that we're incorporating music and video games together. So cool.
Yep. And just to keep us on track, because I know Dantron said wants to keep it at a certain time length, I think we should make this our last round.
Yep.
And that'll get us right to where we need to be.
Sure.
Okay. All right, Eric. That's you, brother.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hit us with the hot one. Right in the face.
I am.
Like a smoked hot dog.
Like bukkake.
No.
Whoa.
Off the rails.
Hiya. This is a family-friendly show.
Sorry, children.
Was.
Man. Please don't demonetize me.
Google Translate.
No, this one is a good one. The music in this game is iconic. It's not Nobuo Uematsu. But it's really good. The music for the different times is really good. Yeah, I can't say much more about it. The music is just awesome. And there's symphony remakes of all the music, and it's all really, really good. And the thing that I love about it is that each character has their own theme, and their themes are all really good. And I have to go with the music from Chrono Trigger.
I almost grabbed my Chrono Trigger down too, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get that one.
The music for that game is just incredible. For all the different areas, all the different times that you go to, and then all the different areas, it's just super epic. And traveling through time and whatnot, it's just great. It's just got great music.
And it's another one of those on the 16-bit era that they had to maximize the music, you know, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like you said, there's so many different eras and all that sort of stuff to make them feel that different when you're constrained with the 16-bit. It was awesome.
This is a hot take, and I don't know if people will agree, but I think if you don't have Magus's theme, I think you don't get One Winged Angel.
Oh.
So I think the two are related. I think one inspired the other.
Cool.
But yeah, really good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I like, you know me, I love Chrono Trigger, so I agree with you. That one. So I've played that one a lot more, of course, than Final Fantasy 3/6. So that one would resonate more with me on soundtracks. I triggers more of an emotional response when any of that music is heard. But yeah, it's great, and the sound effects again too are fantastic. I mean,
definitely,
dude.
Yeah.
When you remake the Masamune in that game, and Frog redeems himself and he pulls it out of the rock and he cuts that mountain in half, you're so pumped at that point. You're like, this dude is ready. And yeah, love it.
So good. No spoilers. You guys just play it. Just play
Well,
it.
and another thing, Eric, about Final Fantasy 3 and Chrono Trigger is that was back when games weren't overly long. They were challenging, like Contra and Battletoads, where you died a lot, so you played a lot. But so you heard the same song over and over. Whereas these were 30, 40, 50-hour games. So you needed good music. You don't want to listen to bad battle music for 30 hours. You know, you have every song, you have to knock it out of the park. Otherwise, your audience is going to get bored, you know, for playing that long of a game. So that's a great
Dragon Warrior
games, you know.
Yeah.
That game, you had to listen to the same battle music for 30 to 40 hours. Dragon Warrior, the original on NES, my God. I have nightmares about that.
Nice. Right on. Good choice, Eric. Man.
Excellent.
Yeah. Phenomenal. All right. Endgame.
So we talked a little bit about licensed music with Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to go with the music rhythm genre in particular, because I feel like those have really good soundtracks with your rock bands and your guitar heroes. And it was one of those things where, you know, I like, you know, like my Metallica and my Disturbed and that kind of music. I wasn't as big of a fan of some genres, but you'll play some certain songs, like let's say Food Fighters isn't necessarily my favorite, but I'll play that in Rock Band, and all of a sudden I'll grow an appreciation for a song that I really didn't care about when it would come on the radio. And I would play those songs, or like, let's say you have a singer that's really into the song and you're like, oh man, we got to play this one because Larson's nails this song when he sings it and stuff like that. And, you know, they did all kinds of, they did like Beatles and AC/DC. They got
Aerosmith,
Metallica, Aerosmith. They got all kinds of different genres. So they're going to hit everything that you got. But there was one song in particular that I remember, never heard of it before, and going back to our difficulty, and that's Dragon Force Through the Fire and Flames.
Through the Fire and Flames. Yes.
That was a song impossible to play. I'm playing medium guitar, you know, at this point. I'm like, man, this song sucks, you know, like I can barely beat it. Then you finally beat it. You're like, man, I got to try this on hard. Then you just get destroyed, but you want to keep playing because the song is just amazing. And it's like, what, 6-7 minutes of just kicking your ass while you're trying to play it.
Yep. Such a good song.
Like, you know, music rhythms stuff I think has a place. Yeah, it's licensed music, but licensed music has a place in video games, you know.
Definitely.
What was kind of just real quick question, maybe you know the answer. What was the song by Buckethead that was done specifically for Guitar Hero? I can't remember. It was the hardest song in the game though. And I know it's so hard that other guitarists like Slash and others have tried to play it live and they can't do it.
Really?
I can't remember
yeah.
this. Bucket
Yeah.
List.
Do you know who Buckethead is?
Yeah, I think it was Guitar Hero or Guitar Hero 2 that it
Buckethead
was.
is a super talented guitarist.
Okay.
He had a short stint with Black Sabbath before Ozzy kicked him out. But now he kind of travels as a solo act. He's getting older now, but really really talented guitarist. His icon thing is he wears a KFC bucket on his head. And he's got like a white mask, so people don't really know what his face looks like. But he was commissioned to do a specific song for Guitar Hero, and so he did a song, and he specifically made it ridiculously hard to play.
Oh, maybe it's like one of the unlockable songs.
Jordan.
It is
Yeah.
Jordan.
Jordan, that's
Jordan.
What it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero 2.
Yeah.
Downloadable single via iTunes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Downloadable. Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I've never played that one. That's why I was like, I remember Through the Fire and Flames. That one was epic, intense.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, that sounds good. I might have to check it out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember they introduced me to Metal Apocalypse. So Thunder Horse was my first foray into that, and I was like, oh, and now I love them. I own like 3 or 4 of their albums.
Nice.
And then, but the one band that I had no idea about, and then I heard a few songs on, I was like, oh, yep, I can do this. It's In This Moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, the band In This Moment, I am a fan of metal. I'm a fan of metal with female singers.
Yes.
I like girls. I like metal.
And females in general.
Exactly. I am an equal opportunity female appreciation person. So, but it is In This Moment, great band.
Yep.
I want to say, was that a Guitar Hero? I think that was Guitar Hero that they were first introduced, or it might have been Rock Band. I was big into Rock Band. Once Rock Band came out, I shifted more into Rock Band, and I was downloading every song that came available. Like every song.
Yeah, they're reasonably priced DLC, you know.
Yeah, so do yourself a favor. Yeah, check out that stuff. I mean, if you like the rhythm game, Rock Band. I want to say Rock Band 3, wasn't that the last one?
Well, they've made a Rock Band 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did.
I think Rock Band 3 was the big one for me.
Era.
Yeah.
Rock 3, yeah.
Rock Band 3 was great just because it had literally all the tracks from all the prior games.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could import them all in and stuff like that. Another band, In This Moment, great choice. Another one was All That Remains. Never heard of them before.
Yeah.
And I played them in Rock Band, and I was like, oh, this band's amazing.
Yep. As soon as six is what sold it. Yeah, and I think that was Guitar Hero first. Was 6.
Guitar Hero. Yep.
Yeah, and dude, yep, exactly. I knew of them, but when I saw them in there, I was like, oh shoot, heck yeah.
Yeah.
But what a great way, like you were saying, Endgame, like, okay, it's licensed music, it's not original, stuff made for a game, but it's got its place. And what a neat way to play video game, never hear of a band playing the song and then saying, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try, and then you end up buying the album, and now all of a sudden they're in your like playlist.
Yep.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And circle it back, like you're a fan of, let's say, Metallica or whatever. Oh, sweet, they have, In the Memory Remains or One or whatever. Like, I want to play
In the Memory Remains.
Yes, we already talked. Oh wait, sorry. Family friendly.
But that's the beauty of it too. It goes both ways.
Definitely.
Too many jokes.
Great pick. Good pick.
Yes.
Great pick, Endgame. Thank you for bringing that up. That's I was thinking about that. I was like, should I bring out Takeo Drum Master or something like that? But I'm like, I don't know how it. But thanks for you brought it up. Perfect.
You snuck it in there.
Yeah. You brought it up and spoke about it eloquently, and I appreciate that because I didn't know how I would work that one and talk about Rock Band. So thanks for bringing that.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
You bet.
Good pick.
All right, Sean.
Okay, mine's actually an arcade game.
Oh.
Nice.
Going through the arcades back in the day, you couldn't really hear much except the games going. Then unless they were like blasting music. But you'd always hear this one annoying song pop. Well, not annoying, but interesting song. And I'm making it as a joke. Shout out to Arcade Adam.
Daytona. Yes.
Oh,
I
but
thought
no,
you were Dragon's Lair. I was like, yeah, that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you'd hear stuff coming out of the racing cabs that was great to have that intro music, like Cruising USA,
Initial D,
you know.
man.
Yeah, Initial
Oh.
D. But I mean, Daytona, you hear it just a little bit, your immediately head is turned to it like, okay, where is it
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to hear the whole Daytona pop up. You just start hearing
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
dang it.
Oh, damn
Yeah.
it. And then it gets stuck in your head for the rest of the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
iconic.
and Sean,
Yeah.
like you brought up a good point there. Like we're thinking of like individual sound effects for certain games and stuff. When you brought up when you walk into an arcade and you hear all the beeps and bloops, we all immediately knew what you were talking about hearing that. Like if you went to an arcade back in the day, that sound is just so awesome, like such a great experience. And that's
It's
all these random games not meant to go together, but yet it sounds so great to our ears.
Yeah, you could
Oh,
just
yeah.
like
Memories.
just entering an arcade, you can go, just in the first couple seconds, you go, okay, I can hear Tron, I can hear Pac-Man, I can
Yes.
hear
Dig Dug.
Dig Dug, I can hear
Yeah.
Street Fighter, I can hear
Mhm.
Cruisin', I can hear Gauntlet.
Yep.
So yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And it just brings
And
you
it-
back. Like if you
Yeah.
experience the arcade like we all have, it just brings you back, and you're just like, oh, man, I miss those days.
Same.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
yeah, this is one of those iconic ones that you automatically were
Yes.
drawn to every time you hear it.
And here's the hard part for me. So I have some actual like arcade machines, and I have to turn the attract volume down on all of my standalone arcades because I don't have enough. I don't have enough of them.
Right.
It's like I got
Yeah.
this one, my Megacade, right? That has the cool stuff that cycles in, but having Hydro Thunder and Initial D just constantly, and it would just be those all the time.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I love them.
I mean, to have the randomness that you don't know.
Correct.
Oh, X-Men,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. So it is different.
Captain America.
I just have to. Exactly. I have to solve it though. I just need more space. I just need more space so I can have more arcades, and then I can turn the attract volume back up.
Hell yeah.
So cool. So cool bringing that up, Sean. Like just the memory
Definitely.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like
What a cool
like you
thing.
don't think of that for music for
Yep.
video games, but yet it is. It's the atmosphere, the environment. So neat.
Yeah,
I-
yeah. I mean, we've all been focusing on console games. I'm like, well, we don't have anything
Yeah.
for arcade love.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, even just hearing like the not music related, but hearing the air hockey puck
Yeah,
going back and forth on a table too.
Or
That
coins
has a
getting
super-
dropped in too. The sound
Yeah.
of
Right,
tokens
yeah.
or coins getting dropped with all the other
Yep.
sounds going on. Click, 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 click,
Yeah,
snap, snap,
yeah.
snap from the
Well, and the
Um,
sound effects, Mario and Donkey Kong when he grabs the hammer, or Colossus doing the, like
Oh,
Yep.
dude, yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah. Dude, I got a question real quick about your Initial D cabinets though.
Yeah.
Does it play like Initial D music, like
Yes.
running in the 90s and
Yep.
stuff like that?
Yeah, I have
That's
the
awesome.
Initial D version 3s. Yeah, so it has all of those songs on there, and so you can cycle through. So like sometimes if I'm feeling it, because every track has a track that's specifically assigned for it, but you can hit the view change and change it. So
Yeah.
the one that I'll go to every once in a while, it's just a weird one, is I have to hit up stay every once in a while. I'll cycle to stay, like because that's the
Yeah.
one that reminds me of when they were racing against if you guys have watched the anime, where Takumi is racing the girls in their 180 SX, right? And so I'm just like, dude, it's so good. So
Dude,
good.
you just
Deja
wanted
vu, running in the
results of that,
90s.
right?
Yeah.
Of
Well-
that race.
No, yeah. I mean, what's weird is Initial D is one of those animes that I don't pay attention to the chicks in it because it's not a chick anime. It's just not. I mean, no disrespect.
Yeah.
I say chicks. I no females. There's females in there, but that's not what the anime is about, and it doesn't draw my
Right,
attention
right.
that way. I know, surprise,
Mhm.
right? Dantron, no. But
Yeah.
Not approved.
It's the cars. It's the cars.
Yeah.
It's the relationship between the main characters. That's what,
Mhm.
and then even between the main characters and like Takumi and his dad, like all those
Mhm.
subtle levels of Japanese culture that's worked into that anime, and also if you understand it, you can see that stuff in the arcade. It's really cool. It is a with like even when they do the dubbed talk between people, if you understand Japanese culture a little bit and you know how the relationships were between the characters in the anime, it makes it a little different in how they speak to each other. So Anyways.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Alrighty. What's up, Wolf?
Okay, so for me, since the last time I'm going to be talking, I'm going to do my honorable mention. It was mentioned earlier, like real quick. I think I mentioned it, quick pass flyby. But we got to talk about David Wise and the Donkey Kong Country games 1, 2, 3. Yo, my God. Tropical Freeze, Donkey Kong Country Returns. I mean, the soundtrack for those games, you know, we've talked about it at nauseum on our shows and stuff. I mean, if you never heard of it, never played a game, look him up, the composer, David Wise. I mean, just phenomenal.
Give him the
Killed it in
aquatic.
DKC too.
Don't
Yo,
forget
definitely.
don't forget the famous DK rap.
Yo.
DKC too.
Yeah, so my last pick is and you could, I guess, pick any of the games. I'm sure Endgame or Larson could help me out with this because I know you guys played the series. God of War. I've never played a game that has music that has my heart pumping out of my chest for boss battles, that gets you immersed into the Greek mythology like the God of War series. And, you know, the one I'll bring up is 3, but I mean, you could pick any one of them, 1, 2, Ascension, any of the PSP games. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree with you. My favorite still is the remake, the God of War remake. The music and sound in that one is dope, and even the fights too, like fighting. You know, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much for anybody that hasn't
played
it.
The PS4 one that came out.
Yeah, PS4. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just been released on PS or PC recently.
Yeah, the more open world one. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's actually not a remake. It actually
I know. You're right. It's just a whole standalone, but just God of War is what it's called. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No, phenomenal. And this is another game like The Last of Us where, because the gameplay is so visceral and intense, when you're beating somebody to a bloody pulp, as Wolf likes to say it, like the music's egging you on to keep, you know, assaulting the person and stuff like that, you know. So a lot of great Greek mythology type music in there for the different creatures and stuff like that. Well.
Eric,
I feel like you
could have
picked better
no assaulting,
words, man.
You
keep assaulting them.
Condone assaulting people. You have to in some games.
It's a video game. We're just speaking about video games, AI. We're not talking about no disrespect to anything else there.
Yeah. Unlucky 13.
Oh.
Well, and then real quick, Wolf, the end of God of War 2 builds to that crescendo cliffhanger, and then it opens up in God of War 3. Where
oh my God, definitely
massive scale, and the music goes well with it all.
And it's everything. I mean, even if you play the beginning and you have that, I forget, it's the same woman that narrates it. She's got a very memorable voice.
Tina.
Oh, it's just
Gaia, I can't remember which one.
Exactly. And then you got that music in the background, and it's just building up the anticipation to control Kratos. It's so awesome.
Well, and the chanting, you know, like like where they're like,
oh yeah,
the music,
definitely.
Very, very God of War. Like when you hear that chanting build up, you think of God of War.
Is that what you were talking about, Larson? The where he's in where it's not Greek mythology, it takes place
with his son.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
That's what you were talking about. Oh, God, that's awesome.
Yeah. The music. And so that I remember God of War, God of War 2 specifically and God of War 3. It's not just boss battle music either. It's normal, just hack and slash moving through the levels. Like the music is great all the way through that game. You're right. And it does, if you have heart problems, you probably don't want to play that game or lay off the caffeine or something, because it'll get you freaking hyped. Like hype level 16. And it only goes to 10. No, this one goes to 11. No, that one goes to 16.
But to me, that's what Endgame's talking about, right? So that takes a good game and makes it great, right? So you take the soundtrack out of God of War, it's a good hack and slash game. It's not great, but you add the soundtrack to it, and now all of a sudden it's great.
Yep.
Well, and Wolf, the scale, right? Like when they're panning out and the music's going with that.
Definitely.
If it was just up close the entire game, wouldn't feel as epic. the soundtrack probably wouldn't be as epic. But when they're swelling out, they make the music swell and, you know, build up to those epic crescendos and stuff.
Do you remember the Colossus of Rhodes fight? The first time you saw that, the statue comes to life, and then it's like that becomes an entire level of the statue chasing you. So cool how they did that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, great game. So this is the last one, huh?
Yep.
Let's do it,
Last
Larson.
one.
Take us home.
This
I don't do it. Resident Evil 2.
No, yeah, no. So we touched on
Resident Evil.
Even for that, like Resident Evil, it really doesn't have a whole lot of iconic music. The one part of Resident Evil that is iconic is the save rooms, and that's what I
and the voice acting.
What?
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
No, I pulled that one out, but I'm not. Okay, so I've talked about this game so many freaking times, and I've touched on how many times that I love the music in this game. And
ActRaiser.
Bam! ActRaiser. Yeah. Dude,
Yes.
the music in this game, like this is another one. You guys are talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Like that a good game is made great with the music. This is a good game by itself. With the music, it is a great game. Like that's what puts it over the top as to one that you will play a little bit and just set it aside, or one that's like, yep, I want to play this. Every world has a different theme. Even when you're communicating with like the humans, because you're a lord, you know, or you're like a god that's overseeing and trying to help humanity grow back from this evil that destroyed them all. And the music, I mean, just even the music of falling to earth when you're being summoned into a basically like a golem, pretty much just a statue, and then you're alive as the statue and you go hack and slash sideways. But just the falling, the dun 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 as you're falling, then at the very dun, dun,
the best.
You know where you hit and it goes all black and then you hear the dun, dun, in the background. It's like. And the music in this game, it's the game itself is great, but the music, they've had orchestras done, they've done, there's a CD out there, at least it was out there a long time ago. It's very hard to find now. When last time I looked, it was pretty much near impossible to find, and it was like thousands of dollars to get this freaking CD.
Oh my God!
They have a CD of the music of that.
Yeah, and it was an orchestra CD. And actually, I got a hold of a copy of it. And so that was some of you guys might
sent me. I think you sent me some of that.
Yeah. So it is amazing. If you get a chance to get the orchestral music from this ActRaiser, it is unlike anything that you will experience, especially for a Super Nintendo game. It is not supposed to be like you're just playing the game itself. Like this cartridge-based game we talked about, music really didn't start kicking up really heavy until like CD-based media. This game right here, though, not the orchestral stuff, but I mean, like just the music from the game itself, like the actual 16-bit game, is amazing. Like I knew it was special way back when I was like, how old was I? Like 9 or 10 or something like that when I played it for the first time. And the music is the first thing that it was fun, the game itself, but the music is what I started remembering more than some of the and it emotionally connects you to the characters too. Like something bad happens, like a kid that you're trying to save, you find out he ended up dying, right? The music is different and it reflects that. And it elicits that emotional response for me. And then there's happy times too, you know, like the happy music when they're building it's every emotion in the music in the music category. So I've talked about it before. Again, I'm sorry for those of you that have watched this, but believe me when I tell you that this game is awesome. The music itself is actually what sets this game apart. It's a good game without the music. Great game with it.
Yep.
Yep. And like the sim stuff is pretty basic in the original game, but like you said, when you help the people, you get that upbeat music where you really feel rewarding. And then the best is when you're like you guys already talked, when you go down into the levels, because the levels are basic side-scrolling platformer, nothing super special, but each one's varied. You know, like if you're in the blood marsh or if you're in the desert, like it definitely has a much different feel. But when you're going down into the world, you're ready to go because it's so epic and it's using those mode 7 graphics or whatever. Like
mode 7.
Yep. You're just all ready to go. Even though, like I said, the level's not necessarily that great, but you're already pumped. You're ready to go and take down that boss.
Yeah, the game is not very hard either. I mean, It's a comfortable. I would say it's a medium difficulty game. Most people can get through this.
You can make progress.
Yeah, even if you're not good at video games, to give it some time, you can beat that game. All right.
And I think the sim elements are like fun. They're basic, they're simple, but they're fun. Like where each area is different. You got to dry up the swamp and stuff like that. Where it feels rewarding. You don't overextend anything.
Yeah.
The side-scrolling levels aren't too long. The sim stuff's not too long. Just when you're getting worn out on one thing, you're moving on to another thing, and you're getting a totally different, music soundtrack for the next thing that you're doing.
Agreed. It has a great balance between not too much of one thing.
Yeah.
So not too much of one thing makes it a good thing. So you get to switch it up. So yeah, thanks, man.
Great choice.
I like that one. All right. Well, we definitely have to have supplemental. I got like freaking 12 other games still just chilling here, staring at me. So we are definitely going to have to do another one. Thank you to Eric, Silk Systems, Coin Drop Customs, Problem Solved with Eric. Again, thank you for taking time to hang out with us, and definitely check out his YouTube channel and his merch stores and all that stuff. He's got some great things going on.
Yeah, cool merch. Definitely
really cool merch.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which I need to get.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Need to get a hat.
We're gonna have merch from Mr. In-Game coming soon.
Working on it.
Nice. Collabs.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Collabs, and definitely Endgame. Thanks again for bringing your knowledge, your enthusiasm, your passion. I greatly appreciate it. Check him out, Endgame Arcade on YouTube. Phenomenal stuff that he has up there. He has some great, coin challenges. He has all kinds of cool hardware previews and software previews. His coin muncher challenge is great. I mean, I love all of that stuff. Endgame, thanks again for being a part of this. It's always great to have you.
Yeah, and check out the Totally Lawsome Top 25. All of us, well, not Sean, but the rest of us are on there.
I still find myself watching that top 25 regularly. It's not super long. It is so good, dude.
And Larson, it's on topic because we talk about the music and stuff, in a lot of the videos.
Yeah, and Resident Evil.
Yeah, all right. We needed another Resident Evil on there. I was
multiple times
in there.
Oh my God.
All right, yeah, and then Sean Shadow Gaming. Make sure you check out his Spotify, and he has some stuff on YouTube. I know he's kind of ramping back up. He's got some things going on, and I'm excited to see what he has and what he's going to bring to the table. Thanks, Sean, again for being a part of this. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. It's always a blast sitting here talking gaming with you guys.
Oh yeah, and of course I can't say enough about my partner in crime, Wolfman.
Hey, what's up? Hey,
Dude,
I was taking some notes.
Heck
Nice.
yeah.
You can't see it.
Oh, there's a lot.
40 plus games that we discussed in this episode. 40.
Wow.
And I feel like we just hit the tip of the iceberg. So
Just the tip.
just the tip.
Just the tip. But I really appreciate, just doing these with you. It wouldn't be a law if it wasn't for Wolf. So, Wolf, thanks again for your knowledge and your love and kindness that you always show to everybody, and the appreciation that you are able to express is greatly appreciated when it comes to these shows. So thanks for being part of it.
My God, I'm gonna cry.
No, man. I mean, we're just friends hanging out. Yeah,
Thanks,
nothing weird. But anyways, does anybody else have anything to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, give the video a thumbs up. It helps Dantron's channel grow. He wants to get up there in subscriber count, and it's because of him and Wolf that this exists. So yeah, if you like it, check out the rest of the videos on his channel. He has a whole playlist of them.
Yep, awesome stuff.
Don't forget, if you guys enjoy the comedy, always check out Dantron on Twitch, Dantron69.
That's right.
Because you never know which one of us is going to show up for a joke.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff. If you check out my channel on, there's Twitch, but if you check out my channel on YouTube, you'll see all kinds of. I got gameplay footage of stuff where I'm hanging out with the Tard Squad and we're just goofing off. But yeah, if you would like, subscribe. Comment too. I mean, I try and answer every single comment. You have a question, ask a question, I'll get back to you. I try and do my best to do that. I do some how-to videos. I do some cleaning. I do console stuff. So any of that kind of stuff, if you're into it, I'm down. Just hit me up. Let me know what's up. All right?
Yep.
And with that, all done.
Until next time.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.